One thing he could do is call up his old team, the 49ers, and see if they'd like to talk turkey on a trade for Brandon Aiyuk, first-round pick in 2020, who's entering his fifth-year option and hasn't gotten an extension yet. It doesn't seem that the Chargers would go that route. However, Aiyuk has become the focal point of some chatter. Andrew Filipponi of 93.7 The Fan. I'll be on with him later today at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time, Pittsburgh station I do every week. He said that sources say that the Steelers have explored the possibility of pursuing Aiyuk, and then Aiyuk goes on X and tweets at Mike Tomlin.
That is hilarious.
You wonder if Ayuk's trying to stir it up. What was the tweet? Do we have the tweet? Did he delete the tweet? He did not delete the tweet. At Coach Tomlin, they're saying we're twins. What do you think? That was the way that Aiyuk tried to get the attention of Mike Tomlin. Hey, Steelers, here I am. You got a lot of cap space because you're only spending $3.6 million on your two quarterbacks, and I'd like to get myself a contract. And I don't know that the Steelers would even consider going that route, although they were going to bring in Mike Williams for a visit. They know how to go out and draft and develop young receivers. Right. They know how to do it.
Right.
And that's a lot of money that you would invest in Brandon Aiyuk.
That's
but
right.
You have it this year because you're getting a couple of quarterbacks on the cheap. I don't think, though, this all goes back to garage sales and bargains. Like, once you have struck gold on a couple of bargains with Russell Wilson and Justin Fields, assuming they end up playing well, even if they don't, it's a bargain, right? It's still a bargain. You're getting Justin Fields for 3.2 and Russell Wilson for 1.2. I misspoke earlier. They get two guys for under $4.5 million. That's a bargain no matter what they do. All of a sudden, you don't say, well, let's just blow all our remaining budget on a receiver. They start looking for more bargains. Like, well, hey, we're getting good at this. Let's go find some more bargains. Let's keep finding guys on the cheap that can end up being contributors. So it doesn't strike me as a situation where they would want to give Brandon Aiyuk something. I don't even know what market value is.
Well,
for that's I think there's two or three guys that are worth $30 million or more per year, and then there's everybody else.
Well, I think that's the big thing here with Brandon Aiyuk, right? It's definitely one of the things that I got my eyes on. You know, again, it's the Super Bowl football team. It's a wide receiver that's really damn good, right? You know, he's looking at himself going, wait, I'm a number one, right? I was the best receiver on the 49ers this year, right? Debo's making 22 something. I should be making more. Right? So that price tag, what the 49ers, who they're paying, they got a lot of high-priced players on their football team. It's going to be interesting there, and I'm with you. I don't think that's a Pittsburgh type of move right now. Trade, right? They're a team that's kind of in, like, there's just last year is the first year you go, whoa, they filled some holes on the offensive line. They got some young defensive linemen. Let's see. I don't think they're in the spot of a franchise right now to go, hey, we're really good. Let's trade away a few assets and then, get this receiver and pay him a bunch of money. That I don't see happening. And then, with a guy like George Pickens too, he's got a chance to be special. He probably wouldn't love if they brought in Brandon Aiyuk and paid him big money and made him the number one guy either. So, value deals. I think that's what you said it. You said it right. I could see them like being interested in, Mike Williams, because it was going to be $8, $9, $10 million. But Brandon Aiyuk's a whole different question. And he does really look like Mike Tomlin. I saw so many pictures online. It's hard to unsee it once you see it now. But I don't think that's happening, Mike.
Aiyuk had 75 catches for 1,342 yards last year. That's an average of 17.9 per reception.
Yeah.
We're talking about
pretty big time
numbers like that with Mike Williams in his second season. Second team All-Pro was Brandon Aiyuk as well. So it makes it expensive to keep him around. It's like 12, 13, 14 million or thereabouts for his fifth-year option this year. That's far short of where he should be. I really do think they're trying to hold it all together for one more year.
Yeah.
Hold it together with George Kittle. They restructured his contract, Debo and his deal. They got one last year of Brock Purdy before he's eligible for a second contract. I think they'd like to finesse this so Aiyuk plays out that fifth-year option.
Yeah.
No, and so the question becomes, what do you do if you're not going to play it out with Brandon Aiyuk? Because it's going to be one of these first-round trades like A.J. Brown a couple of years ago.
Right.
And with no one in the draft room, doing the neck thing like Mike Vrabel, I think they'd have to be on board with moving on, and they would be on board with moving on. $14.12 million is the number, by the way, for Brandon Aiyuk this year. So we'll see. But I think we're on the same page. The Steelers don't make sense. And if they're going bargain shopping in Pittsburgh, we mentioned OBJ earlier. There was something about OBJ's overall vibe last year with the Ravens. Like, and maybe it's just the Ravens uniform. Maybe you put anybody in a Ravens uniform and they instantly look like bigger, badder, meaner, tougher. Maybe it would work for me. I don't know. But there was a different edge to just the overall image of OBJ last year. Like he just seemed a little bigger, a little badder. Not the young, fast guy that he was, not the guy making all the crazy catches, although he'd still like to make one-handed catches if he can. But you know what I'm saying? It had more of a just gritty vibe.
Yeah.
And that would fit with Pittsburgh. If they could get him, he could be the bargain that they eventually come around to when he sees that the market isn't out there at the number that he wants.
Right. What's he gonna? I think the big thing with OBJ is just how much of his ego is he willing to check at the door, right? For the price tag. That's the big thing. But yeah, the Steelers and for that type of player, I'm sure they would love OBJ. He could still do it all. I think you kind of said it right. He's not your big play magician anymore, but he's still a really good route runner. He can still beat you deep. Right. And I think he's at a point of his career to what you're seeing and referring to of like he was happy to be out there. He's happy to be playing. He's happy to lead the young guys and be kind of a mentor in the locker room. As we've talked about before, I know they're Giants and the Browns didn't work out that right. But you're going to find a lot more people on those two teams in that locker room. They're going to go, man, I loved him. He was one of the best teammates I ever had in my life. He has that effect. He is a natural-born leader that way. And guys in the locker room do want to follow him, one, because, hey, they know how good he was in his prime. And then, two, they look at him and, the popularity, the business ventures he's been able to create off the field, all of that, they want to gravitate towards that. Damn, he's dating Kim Kardashian. It's like, hey, let me hang out with you. Can I hang out with the Kardashians? So he is, a star among stars. But, yeah, right price, I'm with you that he would fit in Pittsburgh.
I don't want to go down a rabbit hole here.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that hanging out with the Kardashians is really a draw for
I'm
people.
being funny. It would be to me. I'd be like, damn, sure. I mean, okay. You get to go see Kim Kardashian in person and Kylie Jenner and, that whole group there. I don't know. I'd be down for that. I think they're pretty big time. They're pretty as well, right? So they got some things that I like.
OBJ in Pittsburgh would be something.
Yes.
That would be something. With Russell Wilson, with Justin Fields, with George Pickens, with that defense, that would be something. And if I'm him, I'm waiting to see what happens with the draft because I want to end up
you got to find your spot.
Where I'm confident. Right. I know who the quarterback is.
Right.
I know who I'm going to be catching passes from. But I got a lot of respect for the fact that last year he was content to just be.
Right.
And he's never been like – I think his image and the reality of him on a team, on the field, in the locker room is so different. And part of it's his own fault. He was young when this all happened. He got sucked into the vortex of NFL fame before he could really understand what was going on.
In
with that
New York.
catch that he made when he was a rookie.
Right.
And he became just such a guy, bigger than the game, larger than life. We'd go to Europe. Remember there was that video of him? He got up on a car, didn't he? Like there were people around him everywhere in Europe. Like he became this international superstar. It was just bizarre how quickly it happened.
Right.
But he's always been, I think, a good teammate, to your point. They love him. The teammates love him. He's a great locker room guy. And last year, he didn't complain. His numbers were not great last year. He didn't complain. He unlocked $1 million of the $3 million that were available to him in incentives. He wasn't, I want the ball more. There was never any leaks, Sunday splash reports.
Never.
No interviews done with Lil Wayne sitting next to him. Was it Lil Wayne that was sitting next to him?
Yeah, it was. It was Lil Wayne when he said the things about Eli Manning. That was one of the, probably one of the biggest mistakes he made of his career, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still remember that. We're watching the pregame
we were like,
NBC
what?
Viewing room, and all of a sudden it's like, what's going on in ESPN?
Right.
Let's put on the sound on ESPN right now, please.
Right. Josina Anderson's interviewing OBJ and Lil Wayne. Hold on a second here. We gotta hear this, and it didn't disappoint. He delivered there. But yeah, I'm with you for all those things you said. And it seems like he's at a point of his career where he just wants to be on a team. He wants to contribute. He knows he's not going to be the number one guy. He knows he could still play too. So we'll see where it goes from there. But hey, Mike, let me just to change the subject here just a little bit, because I think this is something to watch out for. and not changing it totally. But the Aiyuk situation with San Francisco, I think that has a chance to be a real pain in the ass for the 49ers. I really do. Again, he's tweeting out things to another coach right now. I mean, does that tell you that he's ready to? He wants to be paid. He wants something aggressive. I mean, that's like I said, he's looking at it going, wait. I'm better than Deebo Samuel, right? The 49ers also got to be a little bit like, when we play really good defenses with man-to-man corners like the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, Deebo Samuel can't get open, right? That's the Deebo Samuel knock right now. That when you play teams that got really good corners and can play man-to-man, he can't separate that way. Aiyuk is their separation guy. He is their guy. We need a big play against the Lions in the NFC Championship game. Throw it deep to Aiyuk. He's that guy, right? He's the guy that Shanahan, I know this, he values route runners. He always has. Aiyuk is a very good route runner. He can do all the intricate little routes that Shanahan's deemed so necessary in his offense. So that's where I look at that one there and go, I'm going to be interested to see how this plays out, where this goes, because this has a feel of a guy that's going, I don't want my fifth-year option, and I should be making top tier of the market type of money as a number one receiver, and I don't know if the 49ers can make that happen. That's what I'm going to be interested to see, Mike.
And even though he was taken in the 20s and wouldn't have gotten gigantic money pre-rookie wage scale, the whole idea of this is we transformed the system to make sure that the busts don't take off with a bunch of money. The guys who get drafted in round one and turn into great players need to get paid. After their third year, ideally. After their fourth year, definitely. I don't think it's fair to expect guys to play on that fifth-year option. And if there was one thing that I was going to reasonably try to change if I'm the NFLPA, it's to get rid of that fifth-year option altogether. If you're a first-round pick, if you're picked in any round, it should be a 4-year commitment. There should not be an ability to squat on that guy for a fifth year and deny him the long-term deal that he has earned. If you want to use the franchise tag, fine. Keep your franchise tag. You're never going to give it up anyway. But why do you need to have a fifth-year option on a first-round pick? Why are guys punished by being first-round picks? It's better to be the first pick in round 2
yes, it is,
than the last pick in round 1.
Right.
Because the first pick in round 2 isn't strapped by the fifth-year option. If anything, the fifth-year option should only be available for like the top 5 guys who get a lot more money than the rest of the round. The guys at the bottom of the round get screwed by the fifth-year option.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's another one. It's BS, and I hope that's one where the NFLPA in the next negotiation can look at that and go, no, we got to take that away. That's not right for our players. It doesn't. And again, like you talk about, it's the most physical team sport in the world. And just for a bunch of owners who don't want to risk very much and not want to take chances themselves, they love to throw guys out there and go, hey, roll the dice on yourself for your future and in your economic future and security. And we both hate that. We both do.
Well, and look, they've set the precedent. Look how Deebo Samuel got his deal after 3 NFL seasons, going into the 4th and final year of his rookie deal because he wasn't a first-round pick.
Exactly.
All that stuff from a couple of years ago.
Right.
And remember, they're going through the club and somebody was holding the sign about Deebo Samuel stays with the 49ers. He's doing this.
Yeah.
And it was clear. I mean, he did what he had to do to get paid.
Yep.
And this may be the first little venture, the first little pebble in the pond by Brandon Aiyuk to just start to make waves aimed at getting him the contract that he deserves. And you may get some angry messages from Kyle Shanahan, but he probably knows it too. He's probably working against some people in the organization. I'm just guessing here. The coach wants what the coach wants, but you got the bean counters who want to count beans in a certain way and make sure that, they take full advantage of their rights. It's all about the collective bargaining agreement. It gives us a series of rights and responsibilities, and we take full advantage of those rights, and we have the right to employ him this year at $14.12 million, and we intend to exercise that right. Fine. He intends to exercise his rights too.
Yeah.
And he's got the right to go on X and and start up a conversation with Mike Tomlin.
Right.
And maybe slide into his DMs at some point, as the kids say. So,
look at you. You're all cool and stuff.
See
I know.
how it
Hey,
goes.
listen, the 49ers is going to be interesting to see what they do. Again, when you say it out loud, right, you start to go, right, they're getting to that point where they've been so good for a period of time here where they got a lot of high-priced contracts. I mean, they got the highest paid running back in football. They got the highest paid left tackle in football. They got, one of the highest paid tight ends in football. Deebo Samuel's up there at wide receiver, right? They got Fred Warner's the highest paid linebacker in football. You got Javon Hargrave, who's one of the highest paid D tackles in football. And you got Nick Bosa, who is the highest paid defensive end in football. I mean, how many guys can you pay? At what point do you start to go, wait, we're sacrificing the full roster and depth on the roster and a little leeway and security here and there to be very top heavy? And that's where the 49ers, hey, it's rich people problems, right? But at the same time, they're problems nonetheless, and they're certainly in that right now.
And they got a great young quarterback who, again, isn't even eligible for a second contract until after the completion of the 2024 regular season. They got to deal with that as well. They got a budget. They got to save. And I think that this is probably the last year for George Kittle. I think that it could be the last year for Deebo Samuel. See, I think what they're just trying to do is keep it together for one more year.
Right.
We got Purdy at the last pick in the draft, rookie wage scale contract. Aiyuk, can we get him to play for 14.12? We can reallocate some of these other resources. We don't have to move on from any of these guys if we can pull this off. We can hold it all together on both sides of the ball. We can do one more run at the top of the mountain under the final affordable year of the Brock Purdy contract. Let's try to do that. And if they can avoid paying Brandon Aiyuk a massive deal, that helps them in their objective. Yeah. But I don't know if they're going to be able to finesse it because he doesn't care about that. He cares about getting compensated fairly for what he's done and what he's going to do in his 5th NFL season. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.